I welcome you once again on this 28th day of this 31 days GST Refresher Course. Finally, we have reached to the end of this particular series. Today, we are going to discuss the provisions pertaining to the IGST, and yesterday we have done up till section number 14. So today we will start from section 15, and I intend to complete the entire IGST Act today. I intend to complete the entire IGST Act today so that we have 3 days remaining with us. And in those 3 days, what I will try to do, I will try to keep the query sessions for all the 3 days because there are a lot of queries which are unanswered. So I'll try to take query session and I'll be requesting my team. If it is possible, then we'll take live query session, guys. Shalin, I think किसी का mic
Okay,
on है.
sir.
किसी का mic.
Okay, sir.
So I'll be requesting my team members also to work out whether it is possible. Then, if it is possible, then we'll take the live query session so that whatever queries are there, we can take queries live also. And
Done,
that may be
sir.
okay. That may be a YouTube live. We'll be trying it, but tomorrow we will be from tomorrow onwards. If it is like if we are able to complete the entire IGST today, then from tomorrow we'll be keeping query sessions for 3 days. ताकि वो जो 31 days का अपना commitment है, that commitment also is meet, and the most of the queries also are resolved. So that is the intention. So let me try and complete the IGST today because very few sections are remaining, and whatever is remaining uh, is basically focusing on the procedures or on the sections which are already discussed and deliberated in the CGST Act. So I'll be just touching over those sections. Now moving to section 15, which is refund of integrated tax paid on supply of goods to tourists leaving India. So any tourist who is coming to India, as we have discussed yesterday, that and I think I have touched upon this, that as there is a concept in other countries that whatever VAT you are paying while you are there in that country, holding a tourist visa or any other visa, then the entire VAT or the entire tax that you have paid uh, during your tenure there is refunded back to you. So the similar kind of provision is there in CGST, in IGST Act also in section 15, which says the integrated tax paid by tourist leaving India on any supply of goods taken out of India by him shall be refunded in such manner and subject to such conditions and safeguard as may be prescribed. So all those taxes which are paid by him and against the purchases of those goods which he is taking off from India, then that will be refunded back to him in the manner and subject to such conditions and safeguards as may be prescribed. Explanation: for the purposes of this section, the term tourist means a person not normally resident in India who enters into India for a stay of not more than 6 months for legitimate non-immigrant purposes. तो 6 महीने से ज्यादा वो स्टे ना करता हो, ऐसा कोई भी व्यक्ति हो जो नॉर्मली इंडिया में नहीं रहता, इंडिया से बाहर रहता है और 6 महीने से ज्यादा वो इंडिया आके नहीं रहता, so he is the person who is covered into the tourist, and therefore the taxes paid by him while being into India on the goods purchased or the goods supplied to him will be refunded back. That is the intention of section 15, but unfortunately let me share that this section is not yet made effective. ये section जहाँ तक मेरी understanding है, अभी तक ये section को effective नहीं किया गया है. This section is still in the statute book only. It is not been made effective till date. So that is section 6, chapter 6, dealing with section 15, and now moving to chapter 7, which deals with section 16, zero rated supplies. Friends, I think we have discussed zero rated supply while discussing section 54 of the CGST Act, wherein we have discussed the refund portion. We have discussed about the accumulated credit or unutilized accumulated credit when it can be refunded. We have discussed about section 54 subsection 3, which provides for two situations of getting your refund of accumulated input tax credit back, or getting your refund of input tax credit or accumulated input tax credit in two situations. One, when you are into zero rated supply, and two, when you are into inverted supplies. So far as zero rated supply is concerned, the concept of zero rated supply is now in IGST Act, and Zero rated supply definition also we have touched upon at the time of discussing the definitions in section 2 of IGST Act, wherein it was said that zero rated supply is the supply which is specified in section 16. So friends, this is section 16 of the IGST Act, which prescribes for the zero rated supplies. So zero rated supply means any of the following supplies of goods or services or both. That is A, export of goods or services or both. B, supply of goods or services or both to a special economic zone developer or a special economic zone. So any of these supplies will be regarded as a zero rated supplies. Either it is an export of goods or services or both, or it is a supply of goods or services or both to a special economic zone developer or to a special economic zone unit. So either of the supplies will be treated as the zero rated supplies. Further, subsection 2 says, subject to the provisions of subsection 5 of section 17(5) of the Central Goods and Services Tax Act, credit of input tax may be availed for making zero rated supplies, notwithstanding that such supply may be an exempt supply. So it is clearly said that you will have to give recognition to the provisions of section 17 subsection 5, and accordingly you will have to take the credits, and then you can avail the input tax credit against the payment of export duty, or against the payment which is liable to be paid for the export or for the supply for zero rated. So subsection 2 is very clear that you need to consider 17(5), and considering that 17(5), the credit of input tax can be availed by you for making the zero rated supplies also. Subsection 3, it says a registered person making zero rated supply shall be eligible to claim refund. A registered person making zero rated supply a zero sorry a registered person making zero rated supply shall be eligible to claim refund under either of the following options, namely, so he will be eligible to claim the refund in case of zero rated supplies. Two options are given: one, with the payment of tax exports; two, without the payment. Under LUT or bond, the exports are done. So A, he may supply goods or services or both under bond or LUT, subject to the conditions, safeguards and procedure as may be prescribed, without payment of integrated tax and claim of refund of the unutilized input tax credit. Or he may supply goods or services or both, subject to such conditions, safeguards and procedures as may be prescribed, on payment of integrated tax, and claim refund to such tax paid on goods or services or both supplied. So these are the two options which are available to him, to a person who is making a zero rated supply, and he will be eligible to claim refund in both these situations. But the refund has to be claimed as per the further provision, which says in accordance with the provisions of section 54 of the CGST Act or the rules made thereunder. So for zero rated supplies also, the refund is allowed in both the cases, whether he is paying tax and exporting, or whether he is not paying the tax and exporting under LUT or bond. Both these situations will make him eligible for the claim of refund. But you will have to keep in mind that section 54 of the CGST Act will be the only section which will be the enabling section, or which will be the section under which, or the provisions of which will be made applicable for the purpose of the sanctioning of refund under section 16 of the IGST Act. Yeah, for the transactions which are zero rated supplies. So section 54 has to be read with section 16. So I believe this is clear now that what is zero rated supply. Only two transactions are falling into zero rated supplies: either it is an export of goods or services or both, or it is a supply to SEZ unit or SEZ unit developer, SEZ developer. So friends, this was section 16 of the IGST Act, which was dealing with the provisions pertaining to the zero rated supplies. Friends, there are certain case laws, but I think we have discussed these case laws while discussing section 54, because section 54 is to be read with section 16 all the times. And while discussing 16.4, I think we have discussed all these provisions of Amit Cotton Industries, wherein there was a mistake of the person has claimed higher duty drawback for 3 months, and then he has paid it back along with interest, and then he has requested to sanction the refund but the refund was not given, and therefore he has moved to the Honorable High Court, and the High Court have said that the refund has to be granted. So these most of the cases we have already discussed, so I will not be touching upon this. Saraf natural story is again a judgment of Honorable Gujarat High Court, wherein there was an unnecessary delay in making the payment, and therefore the Honorable Court have said that in spite of paying 7%, you will have to pay 9%, and therefore the court have said that 9% will be the interest that will have to be paid to the petitioners for the delay which is caused because of the revenue department or revenue officers. So that was in Saraf Natural Restore. If you want to note down this the civil application number, then you can note down special civil application number 15925 of 2018. 12925 of 2018 is the civil application number for Saraf Natural Restore. It is a good judgment wherein it has been said that 9% interest आपको मिलेगा अगर delay होता है, क्योंकि लॉ ये बोलता है, लॉ ये प्रोवाइड करता है दैट any refund application once all the documents are submitted, then within 60 days it needs to be processed. उसके ऊपर अगर आप प्रोसेस करते हो, then the interest should be given. So again, this is for drawback 96A and all those. Gnext power is again for drawback of Kerala High Court. So let me move ahead for chapter number 8. Now we have covered section 6 and chapter 6 and chapter 7. Chapter 6 was dealing to the refund in case of foreign tourists, and chapter 7 was dealing with the zero rated supply provisions, and both these sections are touched upon, and both these sections have to be read with section 54. Why I have not discussed at the time of section 15 discussion, because section 15 is yet to be made effective. अभी तक वो effective नहीं हुई है, 33 months निकल चुके हैं, फिर भी जीएसटी वालों को लगता नहीं है कि इसको effective करना चाहिए. But chapter 7 is effective, and zero rated supply, but there are a lot of issues, lot of glitches, lot of problems that were faced by the exporters or the zero rated suppliers, which the government has also taken the proactive actions, and hopefully, or rather I would say that thankfully many of the exporters have got their refunds, and I think most of the refunds are now streamlined. Now moving to chapter number 8, which deals with section 17 to section 19, and this section is pertaining to appropriation of tax, apportionment of tax, and settlement of funds. Now please appreciate, friends, IGST is being effected, or IGST law or IGST is empowered by virtue of article 279A, article 279A of the Constitution of India. I'm sorry, 269A of the Constitution of India. I'm really sorry. It is not 279A, it is 269A of the Constitution of India. And the provision is that for collection of any tax on the supply which is interstate supply, for collection of any tax on the supply which is an interstate supply, the levy and the collection will be done by the central government. The levy and the collection will be done by the central government, and whatever is the tax that is collected shall be appropriated or shall be apportioned or shall be shared with the state in which the goods are consumed. So therefore the center and the state will be settling of the funds, and this is the section which says about the, or which provides for the apportionment of tax and the settlement of funds, how to apportion the tax which is collected as an IGST with the state where the goods are being consumed. So that is what is being provided in these sections. So I'll be directly moving to section 17. Now friends, section 17 says out of the integrated tax paid to the central government in respect of interstate supply of goods or services or both, whatever have integrated tax you have paid in respect of the interstate supply of goods or services or both, A, to an unregistered person or to a registered person paying tax under section 10 of the CGST Act. B, where the registered person is not eligible to input tax credit. C, made in a financial year to a registered person where he does not avail of the input tax credit within the specified period and thus remains in the integrated tax account after expiry of the due date for furnishing of annual return for such year in which supply was made. So in this three situations, that means whatever tax has been collected in respect of this supply, which is interstate supply of goods or services, and this supply is made to unregistered person or a registered person under section 10, number 1. Number 2, to a registered person but who is not eligible to claim input tax credit, number 2. Number 3, where the supplies are made in the financial year to the registered person but the time for taking credit is lapsed and therefore the credit cannot be taken by that person. Second situation is in respect of the import of goods or services or both. So first was in case of interstate supply of goods or services. Now in case of import of goods or services or both. Again, by an unregistered person or by a registered person who is paying tax under section 10, that is composition levy. Second, where the registered person is not eligible to claim input tax credit. Third, where it is made in the financial year by the registered person where he does not avail of the said credit within the specified period and therefore remains in the integrated tax account after the expiry of the due date for furnishing of annual return for such year in which the supply was received. So in both the cases, yani first case where the supplies were made interstate and second case where the import was made interstate. So in both the cases, the amount of tax calculated at the rate equivalent to the central tax on similar intra-state supply shall be apportioned to the central government. So whatever will be the collection, let's say IGST rate is 12%, then in that case you will have to see what was the CGST rate for this similar kind of activity, similar transaction under similar heading. So whatever will be the CGST rate, that will be apportioned to the central government. Subsection 2, the balance amount of integrated tax remaining in the integrated tax account in respect of the supply for which an apportionment of this to the central government has been done under subsection 1 shall be apportioned to the state where such supply takes place and the central government where such supply takes place in a union territory. तो अगर स्टेट के अंदर सप्लाई की जा रही है हो गई है तो उस स्टेट के साथ आप शेयर करेंगे और अगर यूनियन टेरिटरी के साथ हो गई है तो आप सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के अकाउंट में उस बैलेंस को ट्रांसफर करेंगे. तो दैट इज द प्रोविजन. Further, they are saying, provided that where the place of such supply made by any taxable person cannot be determined separately, where the place of supply cannot be determined separately, the said balance amount shall be apportioned to A, each of the states and the central government in relation to union territory. So it will be supplied to both, but what in proportion to the total supplies made by such taxable person to each of the state और यूनियन टेरिटरीज एज द केस में भी इन दी फाइनेंशियल ईयर. तो वो उस प्रपोर्शन में जितना टर्नओवर जिस स्टेट का और यूनियन टेरिटरी का रहेगा उस प्रपोर्शन में इसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर देंगे ये लोग स्टेट को या सेंटर को. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज प्रोवाइडेड फॉर. And further they are providing that where the taxable person making such supplies is not identifiable, you are not able to identify the taxable person who has made such supplies, then the said balance account amount shall be apportioned to all the states and the central government in proportion to the amount collected as a state tax or as the case may be union territory tax by the respective state or as the case may be by the central government during the immediately preceding financial year. So according to the turnover, according to the total revenue of the immediately preceding financial year, it will be distributed in case where the taxable person who has made the supply is not identifiable. So friends, why this section we are reading or why this section is being provided in the IGST Act, the relevance is that whatever is being collected by the IGST officers or by the IGST Act, in that case the entire collection or the entire amount does not belong to that particular central government. It needs to be distributed to the state to which it relates. See, let me share one thing that I am of the view, maybe I am correct or I am incorrect, बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि डुअल जीएसटी होने का पीछे भी एक बहुत बड़ा कारण है, ये आईजीएसटी एक्ट आने के पीछे भी एक कारण है, क्योंकि जब वैट का रिजीम था और वैट आया था, सेल्स टैक्स से कन्वर्ट होकर जब वैट आया, so at that point in time the central government has committed that whatever will be the loss to the state's exchequer, we will be making that loss good. But somehow after the losses were there, the central government has failed to fulfill the commitment. This is what I have read somewhere. So now the states were conscious and they were of the view कि एक बार उन लोगों के साथ ऐसा हो चुका है, so we will not take this chance again, and therefore they have requested for the commitment of any loss, and therefore the provisions were specifically laid down, and the cess act was also there, and they have specifically laid down how the sharing will be done and what kind of losses will be recovered, what is the expectation, how it will be calculated, like 14% per year से growth होना और वो सब जो चीजें थी. So that is specifically led because of the bad experience of the state or VAT conversion time. This is what I have read. So therefore they are now specifically saying कि भाई इसको आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करोगे, आपके पास जितना टोटल कलेक्शन आईजीएसटी का आया उसमें दो भाग आपके हैं, पहला है आपका सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का और दूसरा है जिस स्टेट में वो जाके कंज्यूम हो रहा है उसका, या यूनियन टेरिटरी। तो अगर यूनियन टेरिटरी तो ऑब्वियसली इट विल कम बैक टू द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, अदरवाइज इट विल गो टू द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट। सो दैट इज हाउ इट इज मेंशन इन सबसेक्शन 2 दैट हाउ इट इज टू बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड। सिंपल है कि बैलेंस जो है इट विल बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड टू द स्टेट और टू द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट। जहां पे हम प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई डिटरमाइन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं कौन से स्टेट में, तो वो सारे स्टेट और यूनियन टेरिटरी का टोटल मार के उसी को आप न्यूमरेटर और डिनोमिनेटर करके you will have to proportionately distribute the entire collection which was made. And the third says where the taxable person of supplies is not identifiable, in that case the balance shall be apportioned to all the states and the central government in the proportion of the amount collected as a state tax or the union territory tax by the respective state or the central government during the immediately preceding preceding financial year। तो पिछले साल में जो भी उसने कलेक्शन किया होगा उस प्रोपोर्शन में आप ऐसी अमाउंट ऐसे टैक्स कलेक्शन का जिसका कोई पता नहीं चल रहा है कि उसका टैक्सेबल पर्सन कौन है या क्या है, सो उस केस में आप उसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट या अपोर्शन कर सकते हैं। Subsection 2A, it is recently introduced with effect from 1st February 2019, and it says the amount not apportioned. The amount not apportioned under subsection 1 or subsection 2 may, for the time being on the recommendation of the council, be apportioned at the rate of 50% to the central government and 50% to the state governments or the union territories as the case may be on an ad hoc basis, and shall be adjusted against the amount apportioned under the said subsections. So it has to be adjusted against the amount which is apportioned under the said subsections. तो जितना भी आप अभी करोगे एक बार temporary basis पे, this is a provision which is provided that for the time being you distribute 50-50, और फिर बाद में जब आप इसको finally settle करेंगे then you can adjust against the amount which is apportioned under those subsections. So this is a newly insertion। और अब आप काफी बार सुन रहे होंगे फ्रेंड्स आप लोग की सेंटर ने स्टेट को इतना पैसा देना है और इतना पैसा भी नहीं दे पाए, एंड जो आईजीएसटी के अगेंस्ट में था या फिर सेस के अगेंस्ट में था। सो this is how it will be calculated and then the center will have to pay. Subsection 3, the provisions of subsection 1 and subsection 2 relating to apportionment of integrated tax shall mutatis mutandis apply to the apportionment of interest, penalty and compounding amount realized in connection with the tax to apportion. So if you have collected, if the central government has collected IGST and along with IGST they have collected interest, penalty or any other compounding amount, then that also should be distributed in the same manner which is specified in subsection 1 and subsection 2 of this act, of this section, sorry. Subsection 4, where an amount has been apportioned to the central government or a state government under subsection 1 or subsection 2 or subsection 3. So where it is apportioned whether to the central government or to the state government, whether under subsection 1, 2 or 3, the amount collected as integrated tax shall stand reduced by the amount equal to the amount so apportioned. So whatever is the amount collected as an integrated tax, it shall stand reduced by the amount which is equal to the amount so apportioned, and the central government shall transfer to the central tax account or union territory tax account an amount equal to the respective amount apportioned to the सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट। तो जितना भी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का कलेक्शन रहेगा उसकी अमाउंट में से ये जो प्रोपोर्शनेट अमाउंट आपने कैलकुलेट की होगी यूटी जीएसटी की, सो दैट विल स्टैंड रिड्यूस, और ये अमाउंट जो है इट विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड, द अमाउंट विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड टू द सेंट्रल टैक्स अकाउंट और द यूनियन टेरिटरी टैक्स अकाउंट, जो रिस्पेक्टिव अकाउंट्स ऑफ एन अमाउंट व्हिच इज इक्वल टू द रिस्पेक्टिव अमाउंट्स अपोर्शन टू द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट। तो इक्वल अमाउंट जो है इट विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड टू द सेंट्रल टैक्स अकाउंट और द यूनियन टेरिटरी टैक्स अकाउंट, and shall transfer to the state tax account of the respective states, and shall transfer to the state tax account of the respective states an amount equal to the amount proportioned to that state in such manner and within such time as may be prescribed. So central government क्या करेगा, central government will be transferring the central tax or union territory tax amount which will be the amount which is equal to the respective amount of central government, or and it will further transfer the state tax account to the respective state an amount which is equal to the amount apportioned to the state in such manner and within such time as may be prescribed. So this will be the role of the central government, that whatever is tax collected will be first apportioned as per the provisions of subsection 1, 2 and 3, and the amount which will be collected as integrated tax shall it stand reduced by the amount which will be equal to the amount which is so apportioned, and then the central government shall transfer the amount uh, to the central tax account or to the union territory account or to the state tax account in the same manner in which it is calculated, or the proportionate calculation is being done, and then it will be done in the manner which will be prescribed manner and within such time as may be prescribed. Subsection 5, an integrated tax apportioned to a state or as the case may be to the central government on account of union territory, if subsequently found to be refundable to any person and refunded to such person, shall be reduced from the amount to be apportioned under this section to such a state or central government on the account of such on account of such union territory in such manner and within such time as may be prescribed. So this is envisaging a situation wherein in future it happens that आपने तो ये distribute करके पैसा उनको दे दिया स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को और यूनियन टेरिटरी को, बाद में पता चला कि उसका कुछ अमाउंट आपको रिफंड करना पड़ गया, तो रिफंड अगर करना पड़ गया आईजीएसटी का वो अमाउंट, तो वो अमाउंट आपको रिकवर भी करना पड़ेगा ना, तो इसीलिए कह रहा है कि ये अमाउंट जो है फ्यूचर के कोई भी पीरियड्स में जब आप कोई कैलकुलेशंस करेंगे तो मैनर लेट डाउन करेंगे, उसका प्रिस्क्राइब करेंगे, तो उस मैनर और उस टाइम फ्रेम के अंदर जो वो रिफंड का अमाउंट है इट विल बी एडजस्टेड फ्रॉम द फ्यूचर अमाउंट टू बी अपोर्शन्ड. सो दिस इज व्हाट is provided for settlement of funds or settlement of accounts. So friends, if we come back to this again, because this is not a law, this is something which is procedure and which is not to be dealt by us, but this just for the sake of knowledge they have clarified, or for the transparency they have specified this in the law. But we as tax professionals, or we as the what I can say business community or registered persons or taxable persons are not supposed to be very much dealing into this, because ये हमारे कंट्रोल या टच के बाहर है, लेकिन फिर भी नॉलेज के लिए ये एक्ट में ही प्रोविजन को दे दिया गया है, सो दैट दीज थिंग्स आर मच मोर ट्रांसपेरेंट. सो वंस अगेन लेट मी रीइटरेट द प्रोविजंस. इन्होंने 6 कंडीशंस दिए. पहला बोला कि जो भी आप आईजीएसटी कलेक्ट करोगे इंटर स्टेट सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज के केस में, तो 3 सिचुएशंस दी. फिर उन्होंने बोला इंपोर्ट ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज के केस में, तो अगेन 3 सिचुएशन दी. तो जो भी आप अमाउंट कलेक्ट करोगे उसमें जो सेंट्रल टैक्स का इक्विवेलेंट रेट होगा उसी प्रोडक्ट का या उसी एचएसएन का, उसी क्लासिफिकेशन का, उसी हेडिंग का, वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को अपोर्शन कर दिया जाएगा. सबसेक्शन 1 में वो है. सेकेंड, अब जो बैलेंस बचा वो बैलेंस किसका होगा, या तो किसी रिस्पेक्टिव स्टेट का या किसी यूनियन टेरिटरी का. तो जिस स्टेट का है उसको दे दिया जाएगा, या फिर जिस यूनियन टेरिटरी का है उसको दे दिया जाएगा. तो यूनियन टेरिटरी का पैसा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को दे दिया जाएगा. फर्दर ये बोल रहे हैं कि जहाँ पे प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई नहीं डिटरमाइन आप कर पा रहे हो, तो वहाँ पे सभी स्टेट्स और यूनियन टेरिटरी आप टोटल मार के अकॉर्डिंगली उसके प्रोपोर्शनेट को आप कैलकुलेट कर लीजिए, एंड दैट शुड बी गिवन इन दी proportionate of the total supplies made by such taxable person in each state or union territory. Further, it is being provided कि जहाँ पे taxable person को identify नहीं कर पा रहे हैं आप, so in that case जो भी amount उसका रहता है वो amount सभी states और central government में distribute हो जाएगी उनके पिछले year में जितना turnover था उस proportion में. So that is subsection 2. Subsection 2A में इन्होंने एक temporary चीज डाली है कि for the time being what you can do is you can apportion 50-50% and then it will be adjusted against the amount apportioned under the said subsection. तो जो भी actual apportionment जो ऊपर आप calculate करोगे वो जैसे आएगा तो उसमें आप लोग further आप adjust कर सकते हो. That is what is provided in subsection 2A. Subsection 3A कहता है कि जो 1 और 2 subsections में आपने पढ़ा, it shall be mutatis mutandis, it shall be applicable to the apportionment of interest, penalty and other compounding amount which is received. So अगर आप इंटीग्रेटेड टैक्स के साथ इंटरेस्ट पेनल्टी या फिर कंपाउंडिंग की कोई अमाउंट भी रियलाइज करते हो तो दैट आल्सो शिल बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड अकॉर्डिंगली. सबसेक्शन 4 से कि जहाँ पे भी कोई अमाउंट अपोर्शन किया जा रहा है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के बीच में सबसेक्शन 2 और 3 के 1, 2 और 3 के हिसाब से, तो जो भी अमाउंट कलेक्ट किया गया एज एन इंटीग्रेटेड टैक्स उसको रिड्यूस कर दिया जाएगा उस अमाउंट के इक्विवेलेंट से जो अपोर्शन किया गया है, और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट वो पैसा ट्रांसफर कर देगा सेंट्रल टैक्स अकाउंट या यूनियन टेरिटरी टैक्स अकाउंट में जो इक्वल अमाउंट होगा रिस्पेक्टिव जो प्रोपोर्शनेट अमाउंट कैलकुलेट किया है आपने, और स्टेट के अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर कर देगा, रिस्पेक्टिव स्टेट के अकाउंट में, तो या तो यूनियन टेरिटरी या फिर स्टेट, तो उसके अकाउंट्स में ये लोग प्रोपोर्शनल मेथड में या जो जैसे अभी कैलकुलेट किया है accordingly the central government will transfer that amount. And subsection 5 से कि जहाँ पे भी इंटीग्रेटेड टैक्स को अपोर्शन किया गया है स्टेट में और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट यूनियन टेरिटरी के हिसाब से, और बाद में पाया गया है कि उसमें से कुछ रिकवरी आ गई या कुछ आपको रिफंड करना है, तो फ्यूचर में वो उसको रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं इन द प्रिस्क्राइब्ड मैनर एंड विद इन सच टाइम एज मे बी प्रिस्क्राइब्ड. सो दैट इज सेक्शन 17 फ्रेंड्स. मूविंग टू सेक्शन 17A. दिस अगेन इज अ न्यू प्रोविजन, अभी रिसेंटली इसको इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया है फाइनेंस एक्ट 2020 से. ट्रांसफर ऑफ सर्टेन अमाउंट्स. तो अभी आपको आपने देखा ही वो PMT9 फॉर्म है, आई थिंक PMT9 ही है, जहाँ पे आपके इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कैश लेजर का एक बैलेंस दूसरे में आप ट्रांसफर कर सकते हो. दैट इज नाउ allowed by the GSTN also, and the form is effective, and the form you can you can work on that form. So similar provision is there where any amount has been transferred from the electronic cash ledger under this act, that is IGST Act. It is transferred from the ECL, electronic cash ledger of IGST, to the electronic cash ledger under the State Act और दी यूनियन टेरिटरी एक्ट. तो आपका कैश लेजर जो आईजीएसटी का था उसमें से आपने यूटीजीएसटी या एसटीएसटी में ट्रांसफर कर दिया. द गवर्नमेंट शैल ट्रांसफर टू द स्टेट टैक्स अकाउंट और द यूनियन टेरिटरी टैक्स अकाउंट एन अमाउंट इक्वल टू द अमाउंट ट्रांसफर्ड from the electronic cash ledger in such manner and within such time as may be prescribed. Then the central government, क्योंकि IGST का अकाउंट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास है, तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट will be the responsible person to transfer the amount which is debited from electronic cash ledger of integrated tax to the electronic cash ledger of SGST or to the electronic cash ledger of the UTGST. तो आप उसके रिस्पेक्टिव अकाउंट में उस पैसे को एक्चुअली आप ट्रांसफर करोगे, इक्विवेलेंट अमाउंट को नीड्स टू बी ट्रांसफर्ड विद इन सच मैनर एंड विद इन सच टाइम, in such manner and within such time as may be prescribed. So that is section 17A, which is recently introduced by the IGST Act or the Finance Act 2020. Section 18, friends, it deals with the transfer of input tax credit. This also the provision we have read with earlier also in CGST. Now we'll have to again just go through it. It says on utilization of credit of integrated tax availed under this act for payment of. When you have utilized the credit of integrated tax which is availed or which is accumulated or which is accrued under this particular act, IGST Act, and which has been utilized for the payment of A, central tax in accordance with the provisions of subsection 5 or section 49 जो हमने देखा था of the CGST Act, the amount collected as integrated tax shall stand reduced by the amount equal to the credit so utilized. जो credit आपने utilize की है CGST की liability पे करने के लिए, and the central government shall transfer an amount equal to the amount so reduced from the integrated tax account to the central tax account in such manner and within such time as may be prescribed. So this is a very clear cut provision जहाँ पे आप 49(5) यूज करते हो और जो पेमेंट है सेंट्रल टैक्स का वो आप पेमेंट करते हो, और जो CGST का IGST का जो अमाउंट है उसको यूटिलाइज करते हो CGST की पेमेंट करने के लिए. Then the amount equivalent amount needs to be transferred is what is provided in clause A. Clause B, when the credit of IGST is utilized for payment of UTGST in accordance with the provisions of section 9 of the UTGST Act, then the amount which is collected as integrated tax, it shall again stand reduced by the amount equal to the credit so utilized, and the central government shall transfer an amount which is equal to the amount so reduced from the integrated tax account to the UTGST Union Territory Tax account in such manner and within such time as may be prescribed. So same situation, खाली फर्क इतना है कि वहाँ पे 49(5) के हिसाब से आप कर रहे हो और यहाँ आपको सेक्शन 9 के हिसाब से आपने यूटी जीएसटी का पेमेंट कर दिया आईजीएसटी की क्रेडिट से. एंड फाइनली सी where the integrated tax credit balance is utilized for the payment of state tax in accordance with the provisions of respective state goods and services tax act. तो आपने किसी स्टेट टैक्स की पेमेंट के लिए उसको यूज कर दिया, देन the amount which is collected as IGST again shall stand reduced by the amount which is equal to the tax to the credit so utilized and shall be apportioned to the appropriate state government, and the central government shall transfer the amount so apportioned to the account of the appropriate state in such manner as and within such time as may prescribed. So what is being provided here is कि IGST का आपका क्रेडिट बैलेंस था जिसको आपने SGST या UTGST या सेंट्रल टैक्स या की पेमेंट में यूटिलाइज कर लिया. सो अपने अपने फिगर्स में और अपनी रिटर्न्स में और अपने डॉक्यूमेंट्स में तो यूटिलाइज कर लिया, बट एक्चुअल ट्रांसफर क्या होगा? सो देयरफॉर इट इज बीइंग सेड कि if you are utilized, then the equal amount which is being utilized will be transferred to the respective account, respective state tax account or union territory tax account or the central tax account. It needs to be transferred to that particular account to square off this transaction. Explanation: for the purpose of this chapter, appropriate state in relation to a taxable person means the state or the union territory where he is registered or is liable to be registered under the provisions of the CGST Act. So friends, this was section 18, a very simple section. I don't think in these sections there is much to discuss. Now this is a, what I can say, this is a reciprocal or a similar provision, same copy and paste provision of section 77. सेक्शन 77 में क्या था कि आपने टैक्स कलेक्ट कर लिया, गलत कलेक्ट किया और गलत भर दिया, तो जब आपको पता चले कि सही क्या है तो आप सही भरो और गलत का रिफंड ले लो। तो यहाँ पे वही है, टैक्स wrongly collected and paid to the government or the state government. Section 19. Registered person who has paid integrated tax on a supply considered by him to be an interstate supply, but which is subsequently held to be intrastate supply. But subsequently you are coming to know that this is not an interstate supply, but it is an intrastate supply. Then shall be granted refund of the amount of integrated tax so paid in the such manner and subject to such conditions as may be prescribed. So you are eligible for grant of the refund. Subsection 2 says a registered person who has paid central tax and state tax or union territory tax, as the case may be, on a transaction considered by him to be an intrastate supply, but which is subsequently held to be interstate supply, shall not be required to pay any interest. वहां इसका वैसे वर्षा था, आप सेक्शन 77 और 19 दोनों को साथ में पढ़े, 77 of the CGST and 19 of the IGST, both are same sections. एक जगह आपने गलती से इंट्रा स्टेट मान लिया जबकि वो इंटर स्टेट था, और यहाँ पे आपने इंटर स्टेट मान लिया जबकि वो इंट्रा स्टेट था. दैट इज द ओनली डिफरेंस. Otherwise, the concept is same. You pay the right tax first and claim the old tax. At the time of payment of right tax, there will be no liability to pay interest. That is section 77 and section 19. Both are complementing each other. That is under CGST and this is under IGST. Section 19 of the IGST Act. So friends, this was chapter 8 and now very quickly we are moving to section 9. And why I'm not discussing much about these, because these are the sections which have already been discussed. इसमें ऐसा कोई लीगल फ्रंट नहीं है, कोई लीगल चीज नहीं है जिसको बहुत ज्यादा हम डिस्कस करें. एंड देयरफॉर आई एम जस्ट covering the provisions because it has to be covered and we should be aware what the provisions are there in the IGST Act. Now friends, before we move to this chapter 9, which is the last chapter of the IGST Act, uh, as I've already said in the before the start of this particular session that we'll be having 3 consecutive query sessions now from tomorrow onwards. So my team will, I think the timing will keep the same, and my team will communicate with all of you. Today is I think today is 11th 12th May. So on 15th May we'll be concluding this, and what I suggest is maybe for last 2 days or maybe all the 3 days we'll keep online queries, but we'll be going one by one of the queries what we have received. But I would surely would like to interact with all of you, and therefore what I would suggest, all the 3 days will go on YouTube live. We'll try to do YouTube live with all of you, and last half an hour can be the online queries. 1.5 घंटा हम लोग जो करेंगे उसमें हम जो भी क्वेरीज आई हुई हैं जो एड्रेस नहीं हुई अभी तक उनको करेंगे, और लास्ट के हाफ एन आवर विल ट्राई टू कवर द ऑनलाइन क्वेरीज. दैट इज व्हाट आई सजेस्ट. सेकेंडली, before delving into chapter 9, which is the last chapter of this particular IGST Act and this series, we are not covering UTGST and the Compensation Cess Act in this particular series. I've never announced, so I do not intend to cover this. Maybe we'll be dealing that while dealing the rules or some other time. So the other announcement is that I have received certain calls and messages with regards to the series of surplus. Due to some reasons, last week I could not record any of the surplus, but be rest assured, since it is my commitment, I will make sure that the entire circular or all the circulars are recorded. Maybe it will take some time, but you will get the circulars, and I will certainly record the circulars for all of you. That is my commitment. So don't worry, you will get the circulars also. Maybe from tomorrow you will start getting one video for circulars also. And last but not the least, again, So many requests and so many messages we are receiving, mails we are receiving for appreciation also, and at the same time the request for sharing of the videos also. So my team is entirely dedicated towards it, and they are working on it. We are trying to find out the ways and means wherein we can upload the videos, and probably by the third week of this month, you will find some of the videos which will be uploaded for viewing for all of you. So that is certainly going to happen, and just we are seeking some time for that, but we are sure that videos will be shared to each one of you, and that can be used for future references also. Now friends, allow me to complete chapter 9. We'll be completing this section, and then we have a lot of time to discuss a lot of things, so we'll certainly discuss. And therefore I intend to come online, and would invite you also to come online, and therefore we can discuss and we can have some one-to-one discussions on the queries also from tomorrow onwards. 3 sessions, all the 3 sessions will be covering queries. Application of provision of the Central Goods and Services Tax Act. So this is borrowing the section 20 of the IGST Act. Says that these discussions or these sections which are applicable in the CGST Act will be squarely applicable, or which will be borrowed as it is, having the same meaning as it is in integrated tax also. Though subject to the provisions of this act and the rules made thereunder, the provisions of central goods and services relating to everything: scope of supply 7, composite and mixed supply 8, time of supply, value of supply 12 to 15, input tax credit 16, registration 22 to 30, tax invoices again 31, accounts and record 35, returns and other late fees. Everything whatever we have read in the CGST Act will be taken as it is. Shall mutatis mutandis apply so far as may be in relation to the integrated tax, as they apply in relation to central tax, as if they are enacted under this act. So they are borrowing all the provisions as it is, which are applicable in CGST, will be similarly, or which will be applicable mutatis mutandis to the IGST Act also. And when I say mutatis mutandis, it means with the necessary changes. So it will be adopted as it is. It will be adopted as it is with necessary changes which are recorded, which are required. Let's say necessary changes में क्या होगा? In spite of the word central tax, it should be integrated tax. इस तरीके का कुछ necessary changes रहेंगे. Now there are certain provisos which we should be aware of. Provided that in case of TDS, the deductor shall deduct tax at the rate of 2%, because there is 1%, 1% CGST, 1% SGST. So now it will become 2% for the purpose of IGST. So that is first proviso. Second, in case of TCS, the operator shall deduct at a rate not exceeding 2%, as may be notified on the recommendation of the council. So again, it is clubbing both CGST and SGST. Provided also that for purposes of this act, the value of supply shall include any taxes, duties, cess, fees or charges levied under any law for the time being in force other than this act, and the goods and services tax compensation to state act if charged separately by the supplier. अगर IGST और compensation cess को separately वो charge करता है, तो that will not be included. Over and above that, all the taxes and duties and everything will be included which are levied on the other law or for any other law or in any other law for the time being in force. Further, it is said, provided also that in cases where the penalty is leviable under the CGST and the SGST Act or UTGST and this UTGST, the penalty leviable under this act shall be sum total of the said penalties. तो अगर आपका कोई पेनल्टी लगता होगा CGST और SGST में और या CGST और UTGST में, तो उन दोनों का टोटल करके जो पेनल्टी की अमाउंट होती है, दैट विल बी एप्लीकेबल इन केस ऑफ IGST. इट इज क्वाइट ऑब्वियस, 100 रुपए पर डे की पेनल्टी अगर सेक्शन 47 में है, या 200 रुपए की पेनल्टी पर डे अगर किसी सेक्शन में, तो इट विल बिकम डबल, because that will be applicable to C and S simultaneously, and therefore clubbing both, that will be the IGST penalty. Provided also that where the appeal is to be filed before the appellate authority or the appellate tribunal, the maximum amount payable shall be 50 crores and 50 crore rupees and 100 crore rupees respectively. So अगर जब आप appellate authorities के सामने कर रहे हैं, तो जो प्री डिपॉजिट की बात है, तो प्री डिपॉजिट कैन बी मैक्सिमम 50 crores in case of appellate authority and 100 crores in case of the appellate tribunal. So that is what is provided as a restriction, and this is an amendment to the act, to the section Section 20 of the IGST Act from 1st February 2019. Advanced rulings I do not intend to touch upon. Section 21. We are moving directly to Section 21 now. Import of services made on or after the appointed day. So whatever import you have done for services on or after the appointed date, you just before discussing this, let me just try to touch upon Section 7. We have read Section 7 clause 1 clause B, subsection 1 clause B. तो आपको ध्यान है importation of service for a consideration. पर्सनल पर्पस के लिए भी अगर आप कोई इंपोर्ट करते हैं सर्विसेज का और उसमें कंसिडरेशन होता है तो भी वो टैक्सेबल हो जाता है जीएसटी में. और एक था पार्ट जब हम शेड्यूल 1 डिस्कस कर रहे थे उसका लास्ट पार्ट कि जब मैं कोई सर्विसेज इंपोर्ट करता हूं किसी अपनी ही कंपनी से बाहर से और आई एम यूजिंग दैट इन कोर्स और फर्दरेंस ऑफ माय बिजनेस तो उसका भले ही वैल्यू 0 हो बट इट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज सप्लाई. So keeping both these things in mind, now let us read the provisions of import of services which is made on or after the appointed day. So import of services made on or after the appointed day shall be liable to tax under the provisions of this act regardless of whether the transactions for such import of services have been initiated before the appointed day. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता भले पहले सर्विसेज स्टार्ट कर दी गई हो ट्रांजेक्शन्स के लिए वो सारी चीजें जो प्रोसेस है वो सब चालू कर दी गई हो लेकिन दिस विल बी लायबल for the payment under this act, that's it IGST Act, provided these are for the services which are imported actually on or after this date, on or after the appointed date, that is 1st July 2017. Provided that if the tax on such services, on such import of services has been paid in full under the existing law, that means the prior law, no tax shall be payable on such import under this act. So if you are able to prove that whatever was the tax liability, it has already been discharged in the earlier law, आपने पहले में सर्विस टैक्स में आपने डिस्चार्ज कर दी थी, देन इन दैट केस आईजीएसटी के लिए आपको पेमेंट नहीं करना है. प्रोवाइडेड फर्दर दैट इफ द टैक्स ऑन सच इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज provided further that if the tax on such import of services had been paid in part under the existing law, कुछ पार्ट उसमें भर दिया था, then the balance amount of tax shall be payable on such import under this act. You will have to substantiate, you will have to establish that whatever is the import on or after the appointed day, on this import there was some tax which I have already paid. There can be two situations, one whether the full tax has been paid or where the part has been paid. In case full has been paid in the earlier regime, then nothing has to be paid under this act. If part was paid, then the remaining part has to be, or the balance has to be paid under the existing or the new, sorry, under the new law, that is GST law, IGST Act. Explanation: for the purposes of this section, a transaction shall be deemed to have been initiated before the appointed day if either invoice relating to such supply or payment, either in full or in part, have been received or made before the appointed day. या तो इनवॉइस बन गई हो पहले या फिर उसका पेमेंट या भले ही फुल में या पार्ट में वो पहले आ गया हो आईजीएसटी या जीएसटी लॉ आने से पहले, तो इट विल बी प्रिज्यूम्ड that that service has been initiated prior to the announcement or prior to the implementation of this particular law, that is IGST Act. So even in that case, the liability to make payment of tax arises under this act. That is what is provided under section 21. Moving to section 22, this also we have dealt with in the earlier regime, that is CGST, in earlier act. The similar provisions are there. The government may, on the recommendation of the council by notification, makes rules for carrying out the provisions of this act. So for this is very important because we need to appreciate that it is clearly saying that they are allowed to make the rules, but for what? For carrying out the provisions of this act. So something which is not provided in the act, something which is not provided or mentioned in the act cannot be asked to be complied with as a rule or under the rules. That you cannot do. Subsection 2, without prejudice to the generality of the provisions of subsection 1, the government may make rules for all or any of the matters which by this act are required to be or may be prescribed, or in respect of which provisions are to be made or may be made to be or may be made by rules. So without causing any issue to subsection 1 provisions, that means the government may make the rules. The government may make the rules for सभी matters के लिए, all or any of the matters which by this act are required to be or may be prescribed, or in respect of which provisions are to be और may be made by the rules. जहाँ पे ऐसा रहेगा तो वहाँ पे भी हो सकता है. तो जनरल प्रोविजंस को ये थोड़ा सा और एलाबरेट कर रहा है सबसेक्शन 2, that it is without causing any damage, without causing any like confusion to the understanding of subsection 1, this provision or this extension has been given, this extension in power has been given to the government. Subsection 3, the government to make rules conferred by this section shall include the power to give retrospective effect to the rules or any of them from a date not earlier than the date on which the provisions of this act came into force. यानी कोई भी amendment को वो ला सकते हैं and then can be made effective from the retrospective date but not earlier than 1st July 2017. उसके पहले का effective date नहीं हो सकता. And last, subsection 4, any rules made under subsection 1 may provide that a contravention thereof shall be liable to a penalty not exceeding 10,000 rupees. So जो भी subsection 1 में rule बनेंगे उसमें ये provide किया जा सकता है कि अगर उसका कोई भी contravention होगा then the penalty amount can be imposed or the penalty can be imposed but the amount cannot exceed 10,000 rupees. Section 23, which says power to make rules, regulations. The board may by notification make regulations consistent with this act and the rules made thereunder to carry out the provisions of this act, so as to simplify, so as to clarify, so as to provide a procedure. There can be regulations which can be made or which can be developed by the board, and they can be announced by way of a notification, but those regulations must be consistent with what the provision of the act is. Sorry, but those have to be consistent with the provisions of the act or the rules made thereunder. So you need to keep in mind that something which is overriding the provisions of the statute or the rules made thereunder, such regulations will be ultra vires regulations which will not be entertained or which should not be entertained. But in other cases the board is absolutely free that by notification they can carry out, they can come out with the notifications and they can make the regulations for the purpose of effective implementation of this particular act, but the regulations have to be consistent with the act and the rules which are made thereunder. Now again, this provision also we have done in CGST, wherein they have clearly said all the provisions which I am reading now are already dealt with in CGST, and therefore I am not devoting much time into that. So this also has been done कि 30 दिन के लिए layout करना पड़ेगा continuously. The same provision is there. Every rule made by the government, every regulation made by the board, and every notification issued by the government under this act shall be laid as soon as may be after it is made or issued for each House of Parliament where it is in while it is in session for a total period of 30 days, which may be comprised in one session or in two or more successive sessions, and if before the expiry of session, immediately following this session or the successive sessions aforesaid, both houses agree in making any modification in the rule or regulation or in the notification as the case may be, or both houses agree that the rule or the regulation or the notification should not be made, the rule or regulation or notification as the case may be shall thereafter have effect only in such modified form or be of no effect as the case may be. So however, that any modification or annulment shall be without prejudice to the validity of anything previously done under that rule or regulation or notification as the case may be. So it is very clearly saying कि आपको कोई भी notification, regulation या rules आप बनाते हैं उसको आपको पार्लियामेंट में रखना पड़ेगा दोनों हाउसेज के सामने 30 दिन के लिए, चाहे वो एक सेशन में देख पाए में 30 दिन हो या फिर मल्टीपल सेशंस में हो पार्लियामेंट के, और इन सेशंस के ड्यूरेशन में अगर पार्लियामेंट में ऐसा किसी भी हाउस को लगता है कि नहीं ये नोटिफिकेशंस या रेगुलेशंस में कुछ चेंजेस होने चाहिए या फिर हमें नहीं चाहिए, ये होने ही नहीं चाहिए, तो उस हिसाब से मॉडिफाइड फॉर्म में या तो चेंज्ड फॉर्म में या फिर वो डिलीटेड फॉर्म में वो नोटिफिकेशंस इफेक्टिव रहेंगे या रूल्स इफेक्टिव रहेंगे या रेगुलेशंस इफेक्टिव रहेंगे. लेकिन जब ये रूल पब्लिश हो गए थे और उस समय उसके ऊपर रिलाई करके अगर किसी ने कोई एक्शन ले लिया था, देन दैट एक्शन विल होल्ड गुड, इट विल बी अ वैलिड एक्शन, दैट विल नॉट बी सेड कि ये रूल्स जो है कैंसिल हो गए या पार्लियामेंट ने इसको अप्रूव नहीं किया एंड देयरफॉर you cannot follow those rules. So if you have followed those rules after the announcement and before it is withdrawn or before it is said or before it is changed by the parliament saying, then in that case ये जो भी आपके actions थे वो valid माने जाएंगे. So this is section 24 of the CGST. And now moving to the last section of the IGST also. And this gives me immense pleasure that today we are going to complete our this series of CGST and IGST, and the entire sections, all the sections we have read, and I feel really privileged that I could do this. Removal of difficulty, section 25. Again, it is parallel to what is in section 172 of the CGST Act. If any difficulty arises in giving effect to any provisions of this Act, the central government may, on the recommendations of the Council, by general or a special order published in the official gazette, make such provisions not inconsistent with the provisions of this Act or the rules or the regulations made thereunder, as may be necessary or expedient for the purpose of removing the said difficulty, provided that no such order shall be made after the expiry of the period of, earlier it was 3 years, now it has been made 5 years. We have discussed this also from 2020 Finance Act. It has been done 5 years from the date of commencement of the Act. So now the removal of difficulty orders can be issued till 5 years. So 3 साल तो already होने वाले हैं, 2 साल और उसको extend कर दिया गया. Every order made under this section shall be laid as soon as may be after it is made before the House of Parliament. So ये भी बनने के बाद एक बार पार्लियामेंट में जाएगा और वहां से वो अप्रूव होगा. This is how it is provided for in this law. So it is also a similar provision what we have read in section 172 of the CGST Act. So friends, with this we complete the entire portion of IGST also. And as I've already said and discussed and assured all of you that now remaining 3 sessions, today we have completed 28th day. Now the remaining 3 sessions, which is 29th, 30th and 31st, will be taking up queries. तो काफी queries आपकी है जो अभी तक address नहीं हो पाई है. We'll be addressing those replies, those queries from tomorrow. So what I intend or what I propose to my team also and to all of you, that for initial 1.5 hours we'll continue with the queries which we have taken or which have been sent by all of you, and for remaining 30 minutes you send the queries latest, like you can send the queries today or tomorrow or day after tomorrow, which will take up again. But please make it a point that don't repeat the queries which you have already sent, because otherwise it will create a problem for us to comply with the reply of the queries, and that will take more time. तो आपके पास ही पहुंचने में जो reply है वो डिले हो जाएगा. So I'll be requesting कि कोई नई queries अगर आपकी हैं, you post all these queries afresh, and we'll be taking up these queries in the last, or we'll try to keep it live so that you can ask live queries on the chat box, and then we'll reply back to those queries. And 1.5 घंटे हम लोग जो अपने रिटर्न क्वेरीज अभी तक भेजी हैं उनको कवर करेंगे, और बाकी के 30 मिनट में we'll cover the fresh queries or the live queries that you will be sending. So this is how I propose for the next 3 days, and then we'll complete with the series. So officially I declare the CGST Act and IGST Act declaration at the sessions and the sections to be discussed and completed. From tomorrow the query sessions will certainly be taken up, because 5th query session तो बाकी था, लेकिन 2 दिन पहले हमने कोर्स को अपने कंप्लीट कर लिया है, तो 2 दिन वो भी मैं चाहूंगा कि वो डिवोट करके विल ट्राई टू एड्रेस द क्वेरीज ऑफ द पार्टिसिपेंट्स. विद दिस, once again I am really obliged, I'm honored, and it was a very pleasant moment for me, and the entire series has been done beautifully, and all of you have participated in such a large number, and the response was so good, and I've received so many blessings and so many messages, and I'm really happy with that. And I believe I was able to contribute in your knowledge bank to an extent of at least 1% addition to that particular knowledge bank. And I assure that we'll continue doing such kind of series very soon. Either we'll be coming out with the circular series or some advanced series, but something or the other is certainly going to come, and we together are certainly going to continue learning in future also. Once again, a very thanks to all of you for participating and making this series a wonderful and a very successful series. And last but not the least, each of the participants I am indebted that you gave me opportunity, you trusted me, and you spent your valuable time with me to or rather you participated in the journey of my reading or my analysis of sections. And I would also like to thank my entire team, which has given so much time and which have devoted so many hours for the success of this particular series. So really great teamwork, great efforts. And I think the participants will also appraise this, that whenever any queries or any issues were there, my team was there, always there to help you and to stand by you and to resolve the queries. So I'm really thankful to each of my team member, and let us hope that we'll be doing better and better and much more in the coming future. Thank you, friends. Thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time.
तो सर एक लास्ट अनाउंसमेंट है लोगों
हाँ
की।
बोलो ना।
कई सारे लोगों की ये रिक्वेस्ट आ रही है कि रूल्स की सीरीज कब से स्टार्ट होगी। तो आने वाली जो भी अनाउंसमेंट होगी वो सारी की सारी हम लोग टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में करेंगे, तो आप
करेक्ट
टेलीग्राम ग्रुप पे अपडेट रहिएगा बस।
करेक्ट करेक्ट। As of now, we are not in a position to announce, but we'll be doing it soon because we have one other series which is running, that is a case law series वो चल रही है और वो काफी tough series है because that is a advanced discussion on the case laws. So up till time that case law series is there, it will be very difficult to announce the circular series, but we certainly are going to announce it. Maybe we'll be announcing that series is going to be from till second week of June, but in June first week maybe we'll be starting our new series. So once again, thank you to all of you. But please be in touch with the Telegram in the Telegram group. Whatever will be the updates, you will be posted those updates in the Telegram group. Thank you, friends. Thank you very much.